Summer 1970. With his ladder propped against the nearest apple tree, Daniel climbed to the top. From this elevation, he could see most of the Hamilton property. The stately white house, the barn and carriage house closer to him in the orchard, vegetable and flower gardens in between. The farm lane a few yards behind him led to Lake Champlain. If he craned his neck, he saw glimpses of blue water sparkling in the sunlight. It all looked and felt like home, for such it had become over the last 18 months, thanks to be God. His struggles to keep a roof over his head and his stomach from growling with hunger now seemed a long way off. Redirecting his attention, Daniel saw Mrs. Hamilton and Elmira exit the house arm in arm. It was their habit whenever the two were together out of doors. Even without their bonnets, at this distance it was hard to tell them apart, except that one of them stopped frequently to cough into a handkerchief. Mrs. Hamilton, always weak and short of breath, seldom went on excursion of any kind since he'd come to live with them. Consumption was upon her. To him it was obvious, though he nor anyone else ever spoke it aloud. His own mother had lingered on for years before receiving her heavenly reward. Daniel could only pray this kind of woman's suffering would be brief. "Good day, Mrs. Hamilton. And you too, Miss Elmira," he called as they came near.
"Daniel, I see you've been hard at work."
"That I have, ma'am. The 6-bushel basket's already full, and I haven't yet finished picking."
"Dolly," said Mrs. Hamilton to her daughter, "do find a clean spot to place my cushion. I need to rest." There was a nice location in the sun. Elmira led her mother to it, eased her to the ground, and approached the ladder. How he secretly loved her, worshipped her, adorned, and was captivated by her. "Aren't you afraid to be so high up?" she asked.
"Goodness no, miss. Not if the ladder is steady."
Moments like this were precious to him.
"Would you like an apple, miss?" "I see here. This one's perfectly ripe."
"Yes, please."
Daniel twisted the apple from the stem and came down a few rungs to hand it to her. Elmira's sweet voice, her gentle reaching hand, and expectant bright eyes as she took it from him were intoxicating. He climbed the rest of the way to the ground and repositioned the ladder.
"Have I told you? Papa said he would buy me a pony for my birthday," said Elmira as she took the first bite.
"I didn't know you could ride."
"I can't. Not yet. But he says you did such a splendid job training Marcus and the new horse that he might have you teach me."
The thought of having reason to be with Elmira, being near her, instructing her, guiding her movements, was a thrill.
"I probably shouldn't have said anything, but would you teach me?" "Dolly," cried Mrs. Hamilton, "come help me up. I can go further now."
Elmira looked toward her mother, who'd begun coughing, then back at him.
"I have to go," she said.
They left arm in arm, but not back to the house. Instead, they continued further down the lane. Daniel knew their destination, a small private cemetery hidden in a grove of trees. This has been Chapter 4 of The Quiet Room by Joseph Covais.